as we just said, since January 15th, over 1,000 Bitcoin accumulated per day, and we start to pick up again, eventually seeing that 109.3K all-time high, and then quickly correcting due to all the FOMO. So that's where we are now.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast. I'm your host, Tony Edward, and my guest today is Brian from Santiment. And as you guys know, we are going to do a deep dive into the data and analytics to get an idea of what is happening in this market with Trump meme coins, Bitcoin, and much more. Brian, good to see you.
Good to see you, Tony. Wild ride. We had a 109.3K all-time high in the midst of this roller coaster. So emotions are all over the place. Yeah,
Brian, I mean, I want to take a look at the sentiment data, because to your point, these markets have been faking us out. Bitcoin, and then a spike to new all-time highs, then a drop, and then the meme coin, the Trump meme coins was sucking liquidity from other coins. It's been a wild 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, with anytime you see all-time highs for the top cap asset in crypto, you're going to see people wanting to gamble and start to take some risks with their profits. And I think especially with the timing, you know, most would argue that the timing of the all-time high made sense with the Trump inauguration. This was a generally perceived bullish event that finally came to fruition after a couple months of waiting. So as the all-time high happened, of course, people are going to put meme coins and capital into meme coins that are associated with the election. And that's why we'll take a look at Trump coin, Melania coin, and Barron coin, which have been kind of the talk of the town for better or worse over the last few days.
So it's almost like what we've been talking about for a very long time: buy the rumor, sell the news, right? That type of event is, I think, what took place yesterday. It doesn't mean the bull market's over, but it's one of those local tops, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, as the inauguration happened, we saw the big pump. And then shortly after, when everyone is trying to get into crypto because they're seeing Bitcoin's new all-time high be reached, that's when the top forms, just like always. As soon as retail starts to FOMO in and think that it's time to party and celebrate in crypto, that's when the whales gladly sell off their coins to them, making a local top. And then we have to start over again with 102K. And now we're kind of ranging and trying to claw our way back to what we just saw a little over 24 hours ago.
Let's talk about the Trump meme coins, Melania and Barron. And folks, we're not saying you should go invest in these. This is an educational view of the data to look at investment behavior and what the markets are doing so we can learn from them. Just want to give that caveat to folks who are watching.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to look at how the crowd has been reacting to these meme coins and the spike in social talk related to them. And whatever your opinion is, we're not going to change it on this call. So what we're looking at right now is the trending words dashboard, just the overall amount of social discourse related to keywords and which ones are seeing the highest spikes in discussion. And completely unsurprising, Trump is at number one, just inaugurated yesterday. You know, the only news related to it was that the expected event happened, right? He was inaugurated. You know, some funny stuff with Musk happened. I know that. But overall, the inauguration occurred. Trump started to make immediate changes. We're not a political channel, so feel free to do your own research on how this is impacting the US. But from a crypto standpoint, of course, people were bullish on anything related to Trump. And we saw other things like Ross, due to Elon Musk's statement about Ross Ulbricht, who is the founder of Silk Road, the inauguration, Melania, president, pretty much exclusively all of these words are related to Trump and the overall election and inauguration. So what I did was I did a quick search query, if I can find it through my crazy series of tabs here. Here we go. So I looked at the social frequency of Trump coin with or without the spaces, Melania coin, and Barron coin throughout social media. We're looking at all of the discussions related to these three coins on Reddit, Telegram, X, 4chan, Farcaster, and Bitcoin Talk. We look at those 6 platforms and then add them all up. And unsurprisingly, we saw a huge spike, actually mostly on the 19th. So this was the day before the inauguration. And then in the early morning hours of Inauguration Day on January 20th, that's where we saw it peak. And then you see the quick slide in discussions. So most of the meme coins were being invested in leading up to the official inauguration time, which happened almost precisely at this all-time high, and then it quickly fell down. So people were basically trying to cleverly slide into these meme coins with the anticipation that they would continue climbing in price leading up to the event. And I think it, from the timing perspective, most of these coins kind of started to correct before the inauguration, if I'm not mistaken. I won't look at the exact prices for all 3, but it seemed like it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy because all of the retail crowd was trying to get in before, and then they all planned to sell off or, get out of their investments as the inauguration happened or shortly after, thinking the people who'd buy their coins would be the suckers. But it turns out the suckers were the people who were buying in leading up to the inauguration, and then it started to drop before it even happened. So basically what the lesson is you don't want to be doing what the majority is. And if the majority is all doing the same thing, you're just cycling your money between each other. And it seemed like that was the case here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to watch out for the herd because, like you said, if everybody's trying to do the same thing and it's public knowledge, right? Everybody on social media, we got to go buy Trump coin. It's pumping. It's going nuts. You're most likely going to get dumped on. There's going to be a huge correction because it's not sustainable for markets to keep running up like this. Even if a coin has good fundamentals, it's getting huge adoption, nothing goes up in a straight line. And then meme coins look very risky. It's in its own category when it comes to altcoins.
Yeah, I want to look at the watch list for meme coins really quick. We have one that just quickly sorts how prices and social discussions are looking for meme coins. If we just look at the past 24 hours, we can see that most are up, especially way down here. Some of the more obscure meme coins that are just kind of emerging. Evan, Kendu, Inu, these are both about double, especially the latter, way more than double what it was just 24 hours ago. And then if we go to a week's time, it's going to be more up and down. So assets like Bonk and Fartcoin, it's so hard to say some of these names seriously. They're doing well, while others, Pudgy Penguins, Peanut the Squirrel, they're actually down considerably. Interesting to see MAGA over here down more than any other meme coin, losing about 2/3 of its market cap just in the past week. So lesson learned there. If you think that everyone is going to pile into Trump and that's what everyone else is trying to do is sell off, you're going to end up kind of holding the bag there and being a little bit too late.
Yeah, and folks should know that, when you're investing in meme coins, it's more like gambling. It's like going to Vegas, throwing it on red or black on the roulette table, right? Because many of these things has been started just recently, possibly overnight, and you never know if there's any insiders who are holding a ton of coins waiting for you to come in and you become exit liquidity.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And this chart here that we're looking at, it's a bit noisy, but in short, the green line is the level of discussion related to layer ones. This basically just the top 6 layer ones by market cap, layer 2s in purple, and then meme coins in pink. And you can see the spike in meme coins is starting once again. In fact, I actually got to refresh, excuse me. So yeah, if we go to the latest day here, the 20th, it looks to be the highest spike of 2025 so far since New Year's Eve of 2024. That's the last time we saw this much discussion. So clearly the meme coin hype has been picking up, which is natural when we see Bitcoin's all-time high. You can see Bitcoin's all-time high caused layer ones to be discussed at the highest rate in about a month and a half. And then what do you know? Right afterwards, meme coins start to spike as people try to figure out what to do with their profits.
Wow. This is so interesting to watch human behavior, especially from a data standpoint. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, and to take it a step further, I mean, it's not always the case, but when you see meme coins spike, it's very often the sign of a top. I know the examples are kind of mixed here, but especially like going back to September and mid-October, some of these smaller ones, you can see right after prices tend to correct when people start to get a little bit too greedy in going for more speculative assets rather than the projects that are really improving and innovating crypto every day.
Yeah. So let's take a look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin leads the market, right? Obviously, the Trump meme coin is an outlier. We don't see that every week or month or whatever it is. And folks are wanting to get an idea what's the next move for Bitcoin, because even though we touch 109K, are we due for some sort of pullback? What's the whale activity showing? What's the sentiment and so forth?
Yeah, so this is the first chart I typically like to look at, to just look at the overall health of the market, get a vague idea of what's likely around the corner. Of course, nothing's a guarantee, but we work in terms of probabilities, just like all the professional traders do. And they, the way we try to approach it is, if whales are accumulating, generally speaking, the long-term outlook is still looking pretty good. If they're starting to flatten out or sit on their hands, or especially dump, that's where we start to get a little more concerned that the markets may have kind of a mini to mid-sized collapse at any moment due to the lack of key stakeholder participation in the markets. So right now, it looks like we're accumulating pretty steadily once again. Just in the past 5-ish days, between the 15th and 20th, we've seen wallets with at least 10 Bitcoin, or about, call it a million, 1.05 million or 1.02 million dollars. They are accumulating pretty rapidly, adding about a collective 6,061 Bitcoin per day. Now, that may not sound like much, but it's over 1,000 Bitcoin per day. And I actually did an insight just yesterday. So this chart kind of gives the overall look at the past 6 months and how whales have been behaving. And there's been 5 key stages here, from July 20th all the way to October 11th. A lot of flat behavior. Yes, this green line has been moving up. This is representing the amount of Bitcoin held by 10 plus BTC wallets. But over this long stretch, they only added about 164 Bitcoin per day. So we're normalizing all the data just by looking at a per day perspective, even though these time frames are different from one another. And then from October 11th to November 5th, this is a very big day. This was the day that Trump was elected as the 47th US president. They somewhat pick it up and start accumulating 884 Bitcoin per day. And prices, represented by these green bars in the background, start to climb substantially. Then, from the day that Trump gets elected, we go nuts. November 5th to December 26th, over 2,000 Bitcoin per day are being accumulated by these 10 plus BTC wallets. And no surprise, that's when the price starts to soar. And we go all the way up to an eventual all-time high of a little over 108K. Then at the end of the year, call it, tax season, holiday season, whatever the case is, whales start to cool off. This was kind of something we talked about at the end of the year in our last call of 2024. We kind of expected people to chill out a little bit, and that included whales. So once they did, that's when we started seeing prices waver, not necessarily retrace, but move sideways and be a little bit more unpredictable. That's normal when whales start to flatten out. But as we just said, since January 15th, over 1,000 Bitcoin accumulated per day, and we start to pick up again, eventually seeing that 109.3K all-time high, and then quickly correcting due to all the FOMO. So that's where we are now.
Very insightful, and it absolutely makes sense with even the seasonality of, Q4 usually being incredible, but then come towards the end of the year, you got to sell off. The markets cool down, entering into January. Maybe the early phases like we're experiencing right now, a bit volatile, choppy, sideways movement, but it's going to start picking up. And we've seen this in the previous bull market cycles as well. December into January, there's usually some sort of pullback.
Yeah, exactly. The signs are pointing to, the long term looking pretty rosy once again. So I'm excited to see things pick up, especially now that some meme coiners have gotten burned. We're obviously not rooting for that to happen. We don't want to see people lose money, but that's just the nature of crypto and what is often needed in order for us to continue upwards. Retail traders, especially the greedy ones, get a bit burned. Whales scoop up their money that they sell at a loss because they're tired of crypto. And then we start to see crypto pick up, and the hodlers are the ones that really benefit from all of this noise as the whales and the greedy FOMOers battle off. And what this chart is showing is mentions of really high prices. So these big red bars are indicative of large discussions related to Bitcoin being at 110K to 119K, which has not happened yet. We've never seen those prices. But when traders start to speculate those prices, that's typically a sign of greed. And what do you know? The two biggest spikes over the past month and a half happened right before prices corrected. This one back here in mid-December as we topped off around 108K. And then this one just before the 109.3K all-time high, and then a big drop as people start to daydream about 110K plus. On the other end of the spectrum, we see these low price mentions, anywhere from 90 to 99K, being associated with bottoms. These right here happened right when Bitcoin started to bounce. This one right at precisely the best time to buy at the end of the year. This one as well. These aren't coincidences. These are the four largest instances of low price mentions being spiked. And then suddenly we bounce every single time. It's like clockwork. There are going to be exceptions, but for the most part, I really like this as a signal for especially short-term swing traders out there looking for ideal times to buy when there's a lot of FUD or sell when there's a lot of FOMO.
This exactly as you said, swing trade. I thought of that as you're going through this data, because you can absolutely use this to trade against the herd as they go through the emotions. Oh no, the prices are down. Oh no, it's over. Buy. And then when they get bullish again, oh, it's gonna keep going up. We're going higher, and there's no stopping this train. Sell.
Yeah. Prices typically go the opposite direction of the crowd's expectation. It's not just a theory. It's the way of trading, especially in a speculative sector like crypto. So following the whales and avoiding the herd mentality is a quick way to make more informed trading decisions for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very insightful information. Now, with regards to altcoins, let's say Ethereum, XRP, and so forth, those top altcoins, and Solana as well. What are you seeing for those? I know, like specifically, ETH has been underperforming. XRP has been doing well. Solana kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I know Ethereum and Vitalik, they've been trying to do some maneuvers that have had mixed results with their audience. And I won't get into the details of it, but I know that it has been trailing behind Bitcoin and some of the other blue chips like Solana. And one of the first things I like to look at is just the overall mathematic returns of the average traders, both on a short-term basis here in orange and long-term basis here in teal. It looks like right now, the average wallet for Ethereum over the past 30 days is down 0.6%, which is one of the only blue chip coins in the negative right now. Most are above water. On the long-term side, they're up about 5%. So it looks like it's kind of dead even right now for Ethereum, and things can move either way. There's no guarantee that it's going to make up ground anytime soon, because they're not in like a serious hole like they were back in early August when all of crypto kind of crashed. So if you are looking for a good buy opportunity for Ethereum, I'd ideally like to see, like double-digit negative percentages for this 30-day MVRV, representing the average trading returns. And maybe, this teal starts to get into the negative too, because when both the short and long term are in negative territory, that tends to be when you see these huge green candles start to kick in.
Interesting. And I know ETH is going to run at some point, so it's interesting to see this data. And I think a run is going to come. I don't think this is going to miss the bull market. Now, will it underperform like Solana? Sure, but I don't think ETH is going to be stuck at $3,200 the whole way up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as long as crypto is able to thrive, it can keep Ethereum moving in the right direction. But in terms of, altcoiners are looking for which coins are going to outperform other altcoins. And I don't see enough like regression to the mean signs for Ethereum to like make up ground just yet. There could be some piece of news, Vitalik maybe comes up with the right words that gets people a little more confident in ETH. But right now it's just kind of sitting in that number 2 position without making a whole lot of noise. And obviously the Solana crowd is constantly discussing the prospects of flipping Ethereum at some point.
Yeah. And then I know there was a big move or bullishness on Solana because Trump issued his meme coin on the Solana blockchain versus ETH. So it's interesting to see these things play out.
Yeah, Solana's definitely been kind of the leader in the past year of new meme coin launches. So yes, that definitely has an impact on its native token in terms of its own success, because more coins being built on any blue chip is going to benefit the blue chip if those coins are successful. But if they're associated with a bunch of scams, that can have a negative impact too. So you have to be wary of that. And one thing that's interesting about Solana is it's been getting a ton of shorts over the past 24, 36 hours or so. That's what these red bars represent. That means there's more people betting against the price of Solana, hoping to profit off of its downfall, than there are people hoping to profit off of it continuing to rise. So this is actually a good thing. When you see these short bars, that means there's more likely to be short liquidations and some event that pushes prices up that triggers these liquidations. And those liquidations would then act as rocket fuel, essentially, to make those green candles be larger than they otherwise would have been.
I wonder if the people shorting, they think because of the activity, the herd activity towards Solana, the Trump meme coins, all these things, it's getting to the peak, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to short this because I expect those meme coins to collapse. I
guarantee it. I mean, that's kind of the timing here with this big short bar. You can see right at the bottom end of this drop, that's when everyone's like, all right, Solana's the meme coin capital of the world, and meme coins are rug pulling right and left. So I'm going to just try to profit off of this slide that's going on. And as soon as they try to start profiting, boom, we see a bounce and a bunch of liquidations happen. And then we start to see funding rates even out again, even though there's this was the big short bar. We recover, people stop shorting for a few hours. And then I think this was about 16 hours ago, you see another slide and history repeats itself. They're like, all right, this time we're going to see a really big slide. And nope, they get it wrong too. And we bounce once again. It's just so funny to see the psychology behind, how this works and how the crowd seems to just get it wrong over and over and over again.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's talk XRP as the final asset here. Obviously, that's been performing really well. Huge sentiment around it as well. I've seen a lot of mainstream people talking about XRP this cycle. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it really is churning along well. If we just look at from a price performance going back exactly 2 months, the price is up about 119% during that time. So XRP traders and investors are really rejoicing at the patience they showed throughout the ups and downs of the past year or so. And yeah, they're being talked about as a potential candidate to flip Ethereum. They're actually the one in the number 3 spot right now, Solana at number 4. So yeah, they hit a 7-year high, which is incredible. Transaction volume's been kind of up and down. Active addresses, though, I'm pretty impressed with. This is the most amount of unique addresses interacting on the XRP network since the opening days of December. So called out about a 7-week high or so. One thing to watch, though, you can see the MVRVs here are kind of off the axis, but just look at the top left of my screen where it's showing the overall returns for 30-day traders and 365-day traders. Plus 26% is a really high number for short-term traders. And obviously, I don't even have to say it. If your coin is seeing an average return of plus 129% for anyone that's made a transaction in the past year, that means it's looking a bit overheated. It doesn't necessarily mean that XRP is a candidate to suddenly crash, but it means that there's going to be a cool down period at some point. Maybe not right away. This is a very long-term indicator, but beware of a coin that is seeing such a large amount of profits for your average competitor, because that's what traders are that are trading your same asset. You need to see this eventually cool down, and some traders maybe FOMO the top, causing the average returns to drop back close to zero at some point, because these are the ideal times to buy. And when you're seeing sky high MVRVs that are even off this axis, these are often the times where you may want to take a little profit, or just at least de-risk a little bit and be weary of adding on more and more during a time when the zero-sum game is basically just showing profits all over the place.
Great point. And, I'm thinking about the seasonality, like, this thing continues. I don't know, maybe it's another couple months, then the sell-in may go away. Situation happens. So this is kind of like a leading indicator a bit of what's maybe to come, foretelling what may be to come.
Yeah, and there's always news. Obviously, XRP has been in the news a lot in the last couple of years in terms of their victory over the SEC, their failed appeal and stuff like that. I know there are XRP experts who could give a lot more detail than what I can in terms of the latest stuff, but it's been a lot of good news, and that can often supersede the math behind what's supposed to happen with the price. So maybe there will be enough good news that just continues to churn out for XRP where this can last a little bit longer. But from a probability standpoint, assuming like over the next few months, the news is just very neutral for XRP, that would be concerning because we already see so many profits piling up here.
Yeah. Great points. Brian, always great stuff, man. And I hope the viewers and listeners really appreciate the data we're going through here, because this is how you become financially educated to navigate the markets. And I love going through the data with you, man. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Tony. And, I'm looking forward to feedback, good or bad. We always want to improve these and make sure they're, the logic in what we're saying is sound and translates into something that you guys can use to help your trading and investing. So thanks for having me as always, Tony.